Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are doing yet again another Sonic Insanity. Today's Sonic Insanity is going to be on TSSZ, which if you guys have been in the Sonic fandom long enough, you would know that they were actually a news site, and they were decently credible for a bit, but here recently they've been throwing in more politics into their posts. So today we're going to be covering everything that happened involving this scenario, and hopefully we can learn something from this so it won't happen again in the future. Everything started with this post where TSSZ said, "For those who think we have no business as a Sonic site covering what is happening in the US, which you shouldn't because you are a Sonic site. If it isn't happening in the Sonic game or in the Sonic franchise, you shouldn't talk about it. If you want to have a personal account, have a personal account. This is a news account associated with the business. It shouldn't have any opinions. Sonic is wrongly detained by law enforcement in the first minute of SA2 and escaped." So, the funny thing is that analogy doesn't work. If you're trying to tie this into what happened in the current fucking news cycle with who got arrested, who got pinned, who got killed, not gonna name names, it happened. You know what's happening right now. I'm trying to not be political. Sonic himself was framed by a black character, and that's a fair thing to say. He is a member of a species called the Black Arms. They are also known as the Black Aliens, and throughout the game they call him the Black Hedgehog. So Sonic was framed by a black guy for a crime he didn't do. Not very politically correct of you. The plot, the gameplay of Sonic Forces center around Resistance Rising. Now that is such a vague thing to say, acting like America needs a revolution because Sonic did. Sonic the Hedgehog was fighting against a crazy Eggman who has egg robots who are trying to enslave everyone with a magic ruby. I don't think that's comparable to modern day American politics, and if you do, you're fucking insane. Eggman's fucking utopia is not Donald Trump's America, and if you want to know more about that, go watch my video, the Off the Press video, where I actually cover an article that tried to say that as well. This isn't a new thing. This is a thing people brought up for a while. I think even Gamer Guy said this at one point. It's crazy how many people think Donald Trump is Eggman. Rising versus Eggman's oppression. I don't think Eggman was voted into office. I think Eggman just kind of rolled in with a bunch of robots and took everything over. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the one that's crazy. Our friends, our colleagues, our fellow citizens acting like you're an American patriot who have never had a fair shake at life now. Yes, you have. Now, when it comes to some people living life, it is harder for some people. If you were born poor, chances are you're going to die poor. If you're born of a certain skin color or a certain sex, sometimes it'll make it a little bit more difficult for you to achieve things in life. But if you're in America, for the most part, people from any background, any type of race, religion, whatever, they've been able to make themselves successful. It's really hard, and you have to put a lot of work into it, and you still might fail, but the opportunity is there. So to say that is very unfair of you. That's not true. It does make it harder in life, but you still have a fair shake. Life is just random. You can't expect to win every time. Or for centuries, oh shut up, need our voices now more than ever. Oh yeah, now more than ever. You mean not like World War II, World War I? Now is when it's needed, where everything is just people crying over shit. Now is when we need to stand up. Gamers rise up. So if my message is uncomfortable or inappropriate or wrong or not video games, what will yours be? Oh, shut up, you pretentious fuck. TS marks on the final. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. God, what a pretentious fuck. We are not going to sit by idly on the sidelines of history. Oh yes, I'll open my history books. TSSZ, the Sonic news account, fucking made the people rise up and throw Egg Trump out of office. You'll be right there in the history books, I promise you. And we call for the other sites in the community, Sonic Retro and Sonic Stadium, which I don't think they did because they don't want their fucking things destroyed, which, congratulations, you two. You have one less thing that's competing with you, so I gotta congratulate you on that. To perform the same public service, just as Sonic the Hedgehog did earlier, which he pressured the Sonic the Hedgehog Hedge blog Twitter to fucking go out and say political shit too, and a couple other accounts Thankfully, I think every other account that did this shit apologized and cleaned it up and deleted that shit, because Sonic shouldn't be political. But this guy, he doubled down. That's why he got more shit than anyone else. Oh my god, it's fucking crazy. And then we get from Mikey Blaine, excuse me, I find this really offensive. You cannot compare a fictional character like Sonic to a situation where people are actually dying, getting murdered, and hit. Congratulations, you lost a follower, and I will not be following your biased headlines. And TSSZ is over party, which that's very true. And he says, you will not be missed, saying that he's now turned on his fans. He's now turned on the fandom because he can't handle their criticism. And then someone who actually worked for the site for a long time ended up leaving. Donnie ended up leaving. You're right. He can't stop me. I'm leaving TSSZ. And as Tristan put it so nicely, it won't be missed. And that's kind of like the header to all of this. It won't be missed. You won't be missed. That is like the takeaway from this. Jamie Eggman ended up saying, this tweet, if anything goes to show, you probably shouldn't cover it. Not because you're a Sonic account, but because you're tone deaf and garbage journalist. That's a pretty strong take from him. And shortly after this, they ended up deleting all of their tweets. There's more I could cover, but I think this is the gist of what happened. So sorry that I didn't dig through like 72 tweets. I tried to get the most important bits. But yeah, they ended up deleting all of their tweets. Everything was gone. The Twitter account was bare. And then it makes a post saying, our community and our world demands better, but now does so to unsustainable extremes. And in that, TSSZ can no longer be the platform it should be. The decision has been made to permanently close TSSZ, effective and immediately. We will not be missed. Now, what I'm gonna ask is that maybe you shouldn't close it down. It does have an important place in Sonic history, and I'll give a idea at the end of the video to what you could do. But I wouldn't recommend you closing it down. That seems like a massive waste of all that time you put into it. But he's being a massive crybaby. He's being a crybaby, and he's closing it down because he's throwing a temper tantrum, thinking people will be like, oh my god, please come back. It's not really like that. Donnie ends up saying, I feel like this is all my fault, and watch how quickly this changes. I want my work to be archived. And Sam, who's got me blocked, he says, all your work should be archived immediately. You did so much for this community. Trust me, we are with you 100% during these times, which I agree, his shit should be archived, and for a happy ending to his story, it is archived. He got them all. All 1,500 of his articles are now backed up somewhere. That dude that draws ended up saying TSSZ is shutting down their website because one of their journalists thought it was a good idea to compare current events to the plot of Sonic Adventure 2/Forces. Maybe it would have been better to fire that person and apologize. I think that person is in charge of everything, so I don't think you can fire them. Instead of making your website go kaput, which is a good bit of advice. TSSZ deactivated the guy in charge of the account, tried to sabotage the Sonic movie, which is true, with the excuse that it caused an animation studio shutdown, and I had to clarify a lot of that. I had so many people coming up to me asking me to cover that shit, and I'm like, that's just fake information. TSSZ was also involved in the hoodie scandal, which you need to go watch that video because they actually played a part in misinforming people to be against the Tails Rising Sun hoodie. So if you haven't seen that Sonic and Sandy, go watch it. They were actually an active player against the hoodie. Inserted politics inappropriately and disrespectfully on multiple occasions on a Sonic site. Hopefully he's suspended from his job. I don't think he's suspended. I think he's just gone. Twip ends up saying, hey guys, yeah, they messed up with the Sonic comparison thing, but do you really want them off the internet forever over this slip up? I know that they can improve, and they have been around for so long. I definitely don't want to see them gone. TSSZ, don't go. Just try to improve. I say get rid of Tristan. I think Tristan should pass down the account, but I'll give that little bit of advice at the end. But Twip is being the optimist he usually is. Celeste ends up saying, sucks that TSSZ had such a bitch for an owner. Wow, Celeste throwing the heat. Shame to see so many articles and staff gone, but they'll move on to better news communities. I wish them the best of luck, which no they won't. They're gonna burn. They're gonna fucking burn. No one's gonna know who Tristan is in a year from now, I bet you. Red Hot Sonic says, I unfollowed TSSZ ages ago due to reasons. I'll Although because of an extreme mistake made by an individual behind the group, they don't fix it with an apology. They closed down shop and said, wow. Although I bet this isn't the end, I reckon they will come back, which I think they will too, either under new ownership or just coming back with tears in their eyes. I think it's one or the other. Sonic Hacking Contest says, I'm sure some other place will pick up the pieces, which is what I think too, and bring the reputable and trusted people like SSF 1991 who helped me make TSSZ less drama-free over the years. Or maybe a new site entirely if someone had the resources. It might be over for Tristan, but not over for the rest. And I do agree, there should be a new site or the site should get new ownership, but I'll save that for the end. And now we've got 2 posts made from January that predicted all this shit. This shit was so easily avoidable. People were guessing that it would happen in January. D the Hedgehog said, it's all Tristan. You remove him from the equation and inject new blood into it, and there'd be no problems. Someone else needs to steer the ship of TSSZ by now, because the personal aggravation on a public news account for nothing more than petty clicks is really bad practice, which that's what happened. It ended up dooming the website. Who hurt TSSZ, man? With the way they act on Twitter now, they're going to end up defaming themselves and losing what they've successfully managed to build up over these years. Twip the Nostradamus of this. He ended up guessing it 100%. He guessed what was going to happen. They went from a news source to an incredibly opinionated and divisive account. It's really weird, and I agree with you. Now, we have one more thing we need to cover, and that's their goodbye post. Their goodbye post is pretty long, but let's get to it. It starts off with thank you, which is kind of a slap in the face. Not I'm sorry, thank you. Everything is an extraordinary circumstance right now. Too much is happening that makes Sonic or Sega or video game news frankly unimportant. Only if you're this guy is that true. We've had things like the Gulf War and video game journalism still happen. We've had things like the fucking tragedies of monuments being burnt down and video game journalism still happened. He's acting like because of a virus and some protesters that Sonic is no longer relevant. Way to go. Way to go. Way to show that you should even be part of this fandom to begin with. Our community and our world demands better. No, they don't. That's SJW rhetoric for the win. But now does so the unsustainable extremes. And in that, TSSZ can no longer be the platform it should be. It can be. Just get some real Sonic fans on there. You're obviously not a Sonic fan. Just get Sonic fans in there and that site will be fine. The decision has been made to permanently close TSSZ, which I hope isn't true, effective and immediately. This site and those behind it have been accountable to you for the better part of 21 years. You didn't own up to shit, so no, you haven't been accountable. To be accountable means that when you make a mistake, you will own up to it and fix it. Amid the strong coverage of community events, stories that drew ire from movers and shakers at every level, the tweets that did little to navigate. Quit stroking your ego. The waters of social media cesspool. Oh, boo-hoo. All of it was the intent to make me think I can find a better, less biased platform. Yes, I did think. The collective success of our team, members, past and present, leaves no doubt of our impact. Your impact is going to be mostly a joke, thanks to you, Tristan. Much will be speculated about the closing in our current climate, which is true because we know why it's closing. Silence, indeed, is not an option, which it always is. This platform has championed and molded change for nearly its entire tenure. I don't believe that. With what is in front of all of us, it can no longer effectively do so. Certainly, without continued deluded pleas for escapism and ignorance. Now, escapism does not mean ignorance. You can be well in tune with society and still want to escape from it. You don't have to be politically active. You don't have to be politically aware. If you want to play a video game about a cartoon hedgehog and have fun and enjoy yourself and not worry about these crazy people burning down your target, you have that right. and that doesn't make you any less of a person. That doesn't make your opinions any less valid. Don't let these people throw propaganda at you and get you angry over something you shouldn't even be involved in. There is nothing to celebrate in this decision. For some people there is. Another voice in the community is lost. I don't care if it's you getting lost. Another avenue for accountability is cut off. If you would have just apologized, you could have been accountable. Another perspective on the world around us is just gone. Quit stroking your fucking ego. With any luck, better voices and perspectives will replace it. I hope so. TSSZ has endured 21 years of strong reporting born from strong collective decisions that few ever see or know of. There is little else for the platform to prove. Our team, now largely compromised of working adults, which it always has been, fuck you, has bigger fish to fry and better lives to live. That's just you. You won't pass this site down to anyone else, so it's just you who's taking the site down, Tristan. As for me, T, just say Tristan. We know it's you. I encourage all in these times to use the platform for greater good. No, don't buy into his SJW shit. If you like Sonic the Hedgehog and you have an account dedicated to Sonic the Hedgehog, just talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Don't talk about Black Lives Matter, riots, or whatever. Just talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Don't make the mistake this man made. If the message and issue you've seen from me here elsewhere weren't effective, craft better messages. No, don't fucking go with that SJW logic. It's not the tactics that are bad, it's just the argument that was bad. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't make Sonic political. Making Sonic political is a bad idea. Don't keep trying to do it in different ways till it works. Just stop trying to make Sonic political. If you want to be political, do it on your own account. Don't do it on the Sonic account. It's easy to shout people down and cancel people you canceled yourself, and content you don't agree with. Boo-hoo. It's more difficult to take the uncomfortable step into the shores of an agent for change. Oh, boo-hoo. You're not making any change on your Sonic the Hedgehog website, for yourself and for others. I am confident that the collective power of the community this platform has covered for over 20 years to do that, to a good future. Now, that was all of his fucking melodramatic goodbye post. And my advice at the end of this would be, whoever is left who isn't Tristan, please take this website away from him. Give this website to new people. Give this website some fresh blood, a new leader. Bring some accountability to this website. Apologize for what Tristan did and move on. I really don't want this site to go under because Tristan got his feelings hurt. So if you can, try to reach out to Tristan and see if we can get this website in better hands. We've seen legacy accounts work before. The Sonic Show got passed on. Tails channel got passed on. TSSZ doesn't have to die here. It can be passed on. Yes, Tristan made some mistakes, just like Matt made mistakes, just like anyone else who was the heads of these channels made mistakes. If you want to move on from Sonic, move on from Sonic and let Sonic fans run the site. That's all I've got to say about this. This is the story about how one man decided to tank an entire site because he had his feelings hurt. He didn't care about the legacy of this site. He didn't care about the Sonic fandom. It's really, really sad. And hopefully this isn't the end for this site. And maybe, just maybe, we can get this site back up and running and back to what it used to be. So hopefully you guys like this video. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. If you want to help out, you can go to my Twitter, if you can, and retweet out hashtag Don't Make Sonic Political. I'll also have that in the title of this video, so just throw that hashtag out there. It'll help a lot just to convince these people that Sonic is not a franchise that needs to be politically active. Bye guys. Before the credits roll, I thought I'd give a shout out to my multiple ways of making money. YouTube is slowly starting to sanitize the platform, making it harder for people to make money on edgier content like I do. So I'm reminding you guys that I have a Patreon. The Patreon has plenty of reward tiers, including seeing my podcast early, being able to join my fan Discord, and possibly even getting on the show if I can fit that into the schedule. I have video recommendation tiers that you can try to get into, and if all else fails and my YouTube falls apart, I always have a BitChute account. So remember to check out all these different things in the description below.